You also have to wrap it up.
Portion. So welcome everyone. I hope that everyone had a wonderful Christmas holiday party last night. It was a blast. Great music, good fun there. So we will go ahead today. We're going to be working on and Allie better be here because that was her idea. So she should be here shortly. But we are going to work on our CMA. So I'm going to share my screen, and you guys could probably tell me if oops. All right, you guys see that? You're good? All right. So I want to share a little bit about the successes of a proper CMA. Now, guys, there's really no one way to do this. So if you have any ideas or thoughts, or Jody or other trainers have said, hey, Eric, you know that, what about this? Feel free. It's totally good. You kind of get a feel of kind of what you kind of excel at and what kind of works and what doesn't. So I'm going to kind of share some insights of kind of the feelings of what I do. But again, there's no perfect way. And if you don't feel comfortable about it, then maybe just change it and tweak it a little bit. So yesterday, if those at Placer Tour, I loved this. Actually, it was a quote by Michael Phelps, because, you know, they were talking about the swimming and how they're going to break different records and all these records actually that they felt during this one Olympics that he was at, that some kind of crazy 13 or 14 Olympic golds, like all these records were like broken, and they're like going, wow, these are going to stand forever and ever and ever and ever, and da da da. And only 2 of those records actually still stand, and the rest of them have been broken. And so I love Michael. He says your body can never go where your mind hasn't been. And so that makes total sense. So when we guys think in real estate and think about what we're doing, you have to kind of picture this in your mind of where you want to be, where you want to go. If you walk into a listing presentation and you walk in and you think, I'm never going to get this, I'm never going to get this. Oh, we got more people. Sorry, I wasn't watching the waiting room. I got Sarah coming in on two joining devices. So if you come in to go to a listing appointment and you seriously think, I'm never going to get this, I can't do this, what am I doing? I'm so new, there's no way they're going to choose me. You're going in with sorry, get that one out. Yeah, you're going in with kind of the negative attitude. So you have to see yourself going, I'm going to win this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take it. This is going to be great. You can come out of a listing presentation, which I've done, and I have done many times. I go, that was a crash and burn or whatever. And the reason why there's some of these crash and burns is A, we came in there non-prepared, or B, you can't win them all. And there's sometimes people just are really, unfortunately, are using us, knowing that maybe they know we don't get paid by the hour. Maybe they think, I don't know what they think, but sometimes they're just basically just saying, come on in, give me a price, knowing for sure that they're going to be listing with another person, or they're listing with a family friend, or they're listing with somebody out of the area, and they're just using us, which is unfortunate. And I can totally feel, there's been 2 or 3 of them. If it doesn't go the way I planned and they kind of not allow me to kind of go with my flow, then I can totally feel that they were just totally using. Then you call them the next day and they say, yeah, thank you, we went with somebody else. Oh, do you mind me asking you why you went, what was the reason? Oh, we just had another friend that we actually already had known, or we were going to be using her anyway. Oh, thanks for letting me go for an hour, 2 hours, but come and kind of spend my time and kind of really waste it, is really kind of what it is. So going with the proper mindset when you guys go into these listing presentations, knowing that they are calling you because they know that you are a specialist and you're somebody, whether you're brand new, whatever it is, you're a real estate agent. So of course they're expecting you to take the proper tools that you guys have and to be able to take them and provide information that is going to be more information that they can get, because you are the professional. So we'll walk in, we'll act like it, we're a professional. We don't walk into them to a place and go, well, I'm really new. I haven't really done this before. I'm really new. So how about this? I'm really kind of new. So, if you keep saying the word new, they're going to start subconsciously in their mind going, hey, this may not work right here. We want somebody who's going to be a little bit more, kind of more confident is what we want to do. So that is the quote. So I want you guys to ask some qualifying questions when you guys go in. And these are scripts that I would absolutely totally memorize. You guys need to have these memorized. You need to kind of ask tweak it, whatever you feel comfortable about, because some of these are really hard questions. Some of them are difficult questions, like how do I put this in, and where do I squeeze this in, and when do I squeeze it in, and what are they going to say? What if I ask that and they're going to ask me a question that I have no idea? And so we're going to share that a little bit about some of these today. So I always go in, and this is what I do, guys. I let people know when I go to their property, and I'll send them a little guys know, and you guys, I'm sure most of you, but are aware of my pre-listing presentation that I send over. But I'll let them know during that presentation that I'll just say, hey, just want you to know, Tim, that we'll be, I can't look forward to meeting you tomorrow. I just wanted to let you know that we'll be about an hour, depending on whatever question that you have. So I'm setting an expectation, knowing that I'm not going to be there for a zillion hours, or they're, have somebody back behind me or whatever, or that they want to chat for 3 hours or 4 hours, and I'm only pulling in an hour of my schedule. So I'm just setting that expectation to them. But I want you guys to ask this question when you get there. I want you to say is, hey, you sit down. I go and sit down at a table. It's crucial to understand you kind of want to dictate and be in charge of this. So you don't want to play ping pong, but what I call ping pong. If you sit down at a couch or a table and you got Mrs. Seller there, Mr. Your seller, and you're just kind of like going like this, and then you want to see their facial expressions when you give them a number. You want to see kind of their reactions when you talk to them. So if they go, hey, would you like to sit here? And they're already pre-sitting in the other side of the table, you say, hey, wouldn't it mind if you guys are okay if I sit kind of over here on this end, and maybe both could sit over here so I can actually look at both of you and share it both at the same time without bouncing back and forth with my material. And they always go, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. That's all good. So I want to ask them when you sit down. So we go and we sit down at this table or the couch or wherever you want to sit down. And I just want to say, hey, Michelle, just curious, Michelle, what have you heard about the real estate market? And I want people to tell me what they've heard about it. I want them, and your two biggest answers are, well, it's weird. I have no idea right now how one of the answers could be, yeah, I really don't know much about it. If people haven't been, and they're thinking of selling, and they tell you, yeah, I don't really know much about the market. They've either been in some kind of seclusion and not kind of understanding kind of what's been kind of going on, or they really just don't understand what's going on, or they might say, oh yeah, I've heard the market's crazy and the sellers are getting all this crazy money for their properties. And so then I'm taking them in, bringing this information that they're giving me to be able to kind of understand how much they know about the market, where their level of price that I feel they're going to say, like they're like, wow, if my neighbor got this or this, I'm kind of dollar signs are ringing in my head. And so I'm kind of thinking, okay, do I need to bring them down a little bit, or do I need to educate them a little bit so I can understand kind of what their motivation is on selling? Are they just in this for the dollar? Are they in this because they really need to move, or what their situation? So ask that question. And most of the time they're going to say, yeah, I've heard the market's pretty good. And then when the market switches and starts getting tough, when it gets into a buyer's market, they're going to go, yeah, I've heard a lot of people are struggling to sell their homes right now. Then you can kind of pivot and kind of go down that direction. So I want to memorize what they tell me right there. I might come back to that and share that a little bit later, but I want to memorize what that is. When you're asking these questions, I have enough brain width that I can just kind of memorize them or have them. There's certain people, like if you're going into a relisting that somebody had already had the listing for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and you're going in and they're not, it wasn't successful because they didn't sell it. There are also qualifying questions again I'm going to ask there. And I ask them, it says, and I love this one. What did you not like about the selling process of what just transpired the last 6 months? And then they're going to give you rattle off a list of 6 to 7 things, trying not to bring in the agent's name too much and about what they're doing, but they're going to bring in and let you know the whole story of basically what you don't want to do. Get it? Because that's what they're giving you all of the negatives. And so you just kind of mentally think that. And so what I love about that is I'll take that information, put it in my head. You can jot down some information if you want. I always ask, hey, do you mind if I write some notes or take some notes down? That way they're not going, what does he write or what is she writing down? So I'll maybe write some notes. But I love that one situation when I had this husband and wife going back into a relisting, and she made a negative comment, he made a negative comment, and they just went back and forth. forth. And then and they just went, he made two, she made one. And so then what I did after they finished, I just looked and said, okay, thank you for sharing that. And I looked at Karen. I said, Karen, this is what we're going to do. And this is what I do different about. Boom. And this was like 4 or 5 things ago that she had shared. Boom. This is my objection. This is how I'm going to handle that. Then I went back to him. I went, boom. This is how I'm going to handle that. And so it would just, they were just like so, impressed because I listened. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. So what do you guys know about the market? What's kind of happening? Because you want to know kind of, guys, of what they know about when you start getting strategy on price, because you will say a price to these individuals and they're either going to go like this or they're going to go out the door. So you kind of like, I want to know what's going to happen before I just say the number. And guys, please don't ever feel that if you feel your number is way lower after you get their little vibes or where they're kind of going off of the dollar signs they want, and you feel there's just no way that they're going to get that. And I know Sarah's working on a listing now, and she goes, there's just no way they're going to get that, because here's Sarah's question. Have you heard about your neighbors, what their houses are selling for? And Sarah's neighbor goes, or seller's new listing goes, yeah, I know exactly what their house was. And so and here's a quick question here as you go, oh, and they go, yeah, my neighbor's house just right next to me just sold for ABC dollars and and it was like tons of money and I can't believe it. And then I would say, yeah, have you ever been inside the house? What's the comparison that you have there? And they go, well, I've never been in there. Or I have been there. I was at a Christmas dinner last year or whatever it is. And so my house is so much better. Has anybody ever gone into a home and they feel, most of the sellers feel that their houses are way better than their neighbors' houses all the time? They just do. And then occasionally you'll get like a seller that will just say, oh yeah, their house is way nicer than mine. And you go, wow, that was nice. It was humble that they actually said that. That was nice. It's just rare. So you want to just ask them these questions, and they go, yeah, I've heard that my neighbor's house, sold for $400,000. And so, well, how do you feel? Does that feel like that's comparable to yours, or what's your feelings towards that? And they go, oh no, their house is way nicer than mine, or my house is way nicer than theirs. If they say my house is, their house is way nicer than theirs, and already going into it that house just closed for $450 and their house is way nicer than theirs, and you're already kind of feeling that, hey, the value of their property should be XYZ, that this is nice because now you don't have to fight that. Does that make sense to you guys about where I'm just absorbing this information to know how this conversation when I get to pricing is going to be. And so and thank you, Madison, for the cute little house right there. It's so cute. Yeah, she spends so much time finding these cute things. All right, so this is always important. You guys, you need to ask them. And again, I'm not going to be pounding down and asking these questions, boom, 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 boom. I'm going to ask like the first question. Then I might go into and says, what's your situation? First, my very first question always is like, all right, thank you. Can we sit down for a few minutes? Can you share why you want to move? What's the purpose? What is the why you want to move? And so I kind of share that. And then I might drop in these little questions as I'm kind of just discussing things about that. And then if they say grandkids moving, I'll ask them out, have you guys seen the value? Have you looked into the value? No. Well, so, oh, that's so great about your grandkids. How many grandkids do you have? See, I came back to that same question. So to be able to like solidify that, and then I'll come back and just say, have you looked up your property on, online? And so where do people mostly go look for their value online? Zillow. And so that's where they go. So if you guys, there's a couple things I've shared with you on Zillow that one of them, I don't have the numbers right offhand, but I always just kind of generally kind of get close. But I would just say, the past CEO of Zillow, if they go, boy, I got, it says $700,000. That's what they said. That, and if they go, that's crazy. There's no way I'm getting $700,000. Do you see? Now all of a sudden, they've set an expectation where I'm at, and I say, yeah, I completely agree with you, because I know that the past CEO of Zillow, actually, he sold his house for like 14% less than what his Zestimate actually had. So it's a Zestimate, but they can't really tell kind of what's really inside of your home, because what they're doing is if you have $1 million home that sells next to you, your value on Zillow just instantly appears to go higher. But if all of a sudden your house on the other side of you sells for $200,000, well, your house just got valued and it just dropped down another 10, 15%. Well, what is that? That doesn't make sense. So it's just a general idea kind of about property value. And I want to know, do they feel that Zillow is on, or they feel that Zillow is off? And so that's kind of all I'm asking that question for, is because if you give them a number of 300,000 and it's priced on Zillow for 400,000, and you didn't ask this question, you'll hear about it. They're going to come right back to you and go, well, Zillow says, and now I'm battling and going backwards. But if I've already had the Zillow question, the Zillow kind of like the evaluation to kind of get a feel where they're kind of lying there, and already kind of helped understand kind of how Zillow kind of gets their number, then I don't get that Zillow says. They basically come back and go, yeah, that makes sense to me. So I'm kind of watching that, and that's a beautiful picture there too. All right. So, and I asked this question, if I know that, and this is again, the pre-listing question that I'll ask them, before I go, I'll say, hey, I hear that you're interviewing real estate agents, or I ask them, how many, are you interviewing other real estate agents before I come over? Oh yeah, we've got this. And I try to ask them what time, when they're going to be at and stuff. And so then yes, we do love Madison. Thank you, Sarah. So then we've got this question that I'll bring up every once in a while if I feel I need to do it, because I kind of want to know, if I know I'm the third or fourth agent in, I really don't want to sit there and hound them and pound them with a bunch of numbers and showing them listings and stuff. So I'll kind of, ask them and say, hey, did the other agent, provide you a bunch of listings in the packet that you might have? Now, of course, if I'm sitting there and I see 3 or 4 packets laying on their, coffee table right there, and I don't really need to ask that, but I will ask them a question, hey, you mentioned that you were interviewing other agents. Hey, just, this is actually probably not in the sitting down valuation, like when I'm sitting just chatting with them on those other questions. This is after I go tour the home and I come back with them, and I'm actually just about to drop the question about what I feel that the value is on the property. So two answers that you get on this one is that answer number one is that you say, well, they have, but that's why I brought you here, to tell me what you think the value is. Then I know instantly right there, I'm done. I'm not going to ask them again. I'm not going to share the value, share what it is. But I love it when you're asking these questions. A few things that will come up is they'll say, we have the Zillow value says it's $400,000, but I don't think I could get that high. So I thought maybe it was closer to like 375. Well, boom, they just told you the answer of what, at least now I kind of understand. Not that I'm going to list it at 375, because I might just say, congratulations, I really think we get 395, but at least I know kind of where they're at. So when I ask this question, if they totally want to tell me, oh yeah, they were like super crazy, they were telling me that I could only get $200,000 for my house, and this is really ridiculous, and that's why I actually wanted to interview you, because I just think that they're crazy, then you know what the uphill battle that you're going to be going with. And I will tell you here's one thing: if they tell me this and they say, you know what, they actually did not give me a value, why do you think the reason why they wouldn't give a value? Sarah, unmute. There you go.
Yeah, if they were waiting to see.
Sarah, I think you actually are on 2 devices, because I let you in twice. Good. So that's okay. You're done. All right. So we're waiting to see.
There we go. Sorry, I unmuted the wrong one. I apologize about that. No worries. So if the agent is actually waiting to see what the property looks like. Oh, never mind.
I can hear you.
If the agent is waiting to see what the property looks like before they give them an estimate, and then they go back and do the CMA.
That is correct. So that is one thing that it just kind of depends on. I'm more of a one and done kind of type person. There's be times where I'll go and it's such a unique house, and I'll say, guys, here's kind of my estimated value, but boy, I didn't expect that the county records show that you had 1,000 square feet, and I show up here and you have 2,000 square feet, and my whole entire presentation is not even close to being where it's at. My fault for not asking them. Now, before, hey, I look forward to meeting with you, Sarah, tomorrow. Just want to confirm the county shows you got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Well, that's even weird. I just glanced over there. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and this one's 3,200 square feet. That's kind of a strange floor plan if I see 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and that's just one built in 2002. What house is that? I don't even know what that is. But anyway, so that that to me, I have some questions for you, Mr. Seller. Can I ask you a couple of questions before I come? Just confirm. And then sometimes you might want to ask them, hey, just, I see it because when they're actually calling me going, hey, I'm this so-and-so, and I'm jumping on the MLS really quick. I'm putting in there, it looks like that you purchased this, in 1978, which we're going to chat about on one in just a moment. And is there any updates, any upgrades that you've done to it? How's the kitchen? Oh no, it's totally original. Oh no, the deck's falling apart. Oh no, this is falling apart. So I'm going in kind of the expectation of what kind of numbers that I'm going to bring with me. But as we're going to share a live example here shortly, that which I need to get going, moving on that. We're gonna actually get deep, kind of leave it kind of a little bit open so I can show them some higher ones, some middle ones, and some lower ones. And then when I go in, I'm a big fan of just giving them a price straight out of the gate. And the only reason why sometimes that individuals don't give a price is because some people want $1 million and they brought a presentation which both agents know that it's only worth 600 and they want $1 million, and they said, look, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. And that's kind of, I've been there 2 or 3 times where they want so much money, it's like, it's just not gonna happen. So I'm giving you a price and they just keep waiting. They want to just keep until somebody gives them the price that they feel that they want to hear, is what happens there. And guys, please don't feel like you can not just walk away from a listing. You will, and I've done it before. I've listed some things super high and I knew they were high. I should have just walked out of there, pulled my photographer, and we should have just left. Didn't do it. They were grumpy. They were not nice. They just were, what's wrong with you, Eric? What's wrong with you? They took the house off the market and then they put it on the market, several months later. They sat there for months and months and months, and then it never sells. And so I don't like to get people mad at me. So why would I go in and say, I'll try $1 million and we'll just see what happens, and I know that it's worth 600,000. It's never going to sell. So there are times though, where, you kind of feel like you have to get close, to be able to get a listing, because then you walk out of there and you go, sorry, I'm not going to do it for 600,000. I'm only doing it for 600. See you later. I'm done. Somebody else comes in, lists it for 650. You look on the MLS 5 days later and it's pending. And then, you just lost a commission. So I will work with them, but at the same time, it's like I'll go to 625. Okay, well, what about 650? Okay, 635. Well, how about 649? Well, that's really close to 650, but I'll go to 645. So, I mean, you see, they got to make some movement there. And so you can share them the comparables, and then you can talk about appraisals and that type of stuff. So I want to hear what they're actually bringing up. And so you're basically listening, you're just totally listening, and then you're providing a solution is what you're doing. And so when I listen and say, hey, why are you moving? You better be hitting that why you're moving several times and come back to the grandkids and come back to all sorts of fun things. Actually, I printed that one. Do you have it for me? Is there another one of these out there on that or not? No, maybe I didn't print it. All right, so we're going to get in any questions about this first. All right, so we are going to go into a live one right here that we're going to do a price evaluation. Some people asked to kind of get an idea of kind of what price is. I'm going to move this way since I'm getting a little sun. I am getting some sun there. I'll come right here. And so you guys can see that what I do here is I've got my MLS open. You've got, this is the address that we're going with right here, 15308 Brewer Road. Haven't been in the house yet. Don't know what it looks like. So we're basically going to be putting a presentation together right now. So, I'll come in, I'll like search. I want to hear it. So if somebody calls me and I'm on the phone with them and says, yeah, can I get your address, please? Boom, here it is. And I come here and I hit search and go, wow, it hasn't even closed for like ever and ever. The MLS doesn't even have it in there. So it's like crazy. So I'll go to the tax record, because if somebody calls up and said, hey, this is, Jana, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden you go up and look at the people and it's like, it's Sarah is the legal owner of the property. It's like, and you guys, you women, and even men too, you got to be careful, but you're going to get some real strange things that you're going to, if you ever feel like your hair stand up the back of your head, you just get out of there fast. And so I want to look at this. So, why would it not show up right there? No. Oh, sorry. I'm putting that in the wrong one. That's why. All right. So I want to look at this. And if the people are on the phone telling me that they are, Gerald and their last name, then I'm going to go, okay, well, at least I feel like I think I'm talking to Gerald. So I'm not going to have any suspicion there. But if Gerald, I'm talking to Gerald and it's actually some other name, I'm going to ask the question, hey, you know, I'm just pulling this up on tax record while I have on the phone that it shows blah, blah, blah as the owner. Can you please explain? Oh, that's my deceased grandfather, or that's this person. Okay, well, that makes sense. I want to know before I'm going, what type of situation is this here? And I kind of come down, and I always like to come down and look. And you can see they've had this thing for 19, you know, this is, I look at the 1,612 square feet. The 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and they've had this since 1978. All right, and you can come back and look at the records here. It's like they've transferred it, and keep in mind they might have had it longer, but they might have refinanced it. But so this is telling me that these guys probably have this thing paid for free and clear is probably what this is. So I'm just doing some analysis here, 1,600 square feet. I'll print this. I take this with me. I show them the paper, because if they go, well, wait, I've got like 2.5 baths, or I've got, you know, 2,200 square feet. I go, well, the county shows you 1,600. So we have to actually dig in and see kind of why. So I'll print this and I'll take this with me. So I have this information. So I kind of set this aside right here. And again, guys, I'm using this cloud CMA. You guys are totally welcome to use whatever that you want. This is just one that I like that puts together nice presentations. It puts a buyer presentation, and it can put, a seller presentation. I'll drop that in there. I'll click that. So now this just populated. There are times where this actually will populate a different square footage, which is interesting. So, and this sometimes is more updated from what the county records have, that the other day, this showed 2,000 square feet. You will also want to just make sure that you spell things correctly. So, that last name's kind of fun. So I'm going to grab that. And sometimes you can come down here and you can kind of see like where the wife's name might have been. It might be in here, Gerald. So I don't see a wife's name, but we're just going to leave that. And if you could ask, you can say, who am I going to be meeting with tomorrow? If you feel like you want to ask them that question, you have every right to ask them. Well, yeah, you're going to be meeting my cousin Bruno and so at the property. You want to know who you're meeting. So, I just kind of like stick this in, just kind of, again, I'm more of a copy paste. You guys are probably some serious typing people that I just lost it. Oh, okay. Wukowski. Now I just totally lost that. So I'm just putting him in. And so if you do happen to be that it's not the same person and it's a family, I'll put the person I'm going to meet there, or I might put, I just did that wrong again, guys. I am not doing good. I might just put, the Kozowski family or something like that if it's a trust, because sometimes, I don't want to, if Gerald is deceased and I'm meeting the granddaughter, I don't want to put Gerald in the report because it's like, this is dear Gerald. Well, dear Gerald's deceased. So you want to kind of, because that name will pop up in the report there. So here I have this. I've got the information here. And now I got to go to some MLS and put in some MLS numbers. So I'm going to go to the MLS here. And I'm going to just do, again, those who are brand new, standard search just pops up. I'm going to dig in here. I got residential. I'm going to hit a lot of these contingencies. I'm going to hit pendings. I'm going to hit this. Now, because the market has done kind of crazy things, and it's, 6 months ago market was way different than 3 months ago market, and today's market's a little bit different. So I might sit there and just go, guys, I just want the last little while and kind of see what, kind of what happens. And I'll share kind of what I do and how I open things up if I need more. But this house is in Alta Sierra. So I'm going to go, Alta Sierra here. I know it's around 1,600 square feet. So I'm going to drop in, somewhere between, let's say, like a 1,400 square foot to, a 2,000 square foot kind of house. I'm going to preview my count really quick. I have 36 of them. That's still quite a bit for me to look at. Other things that you could have noticed right there on this is lot size. So, if I've got, like this should just be like a 1/4 acre. No, it's actually, I've got an acre of land. So that's actually a nice size. So you got a nice piece of property there. So that's going to be probably a little bit bigger than most, but I will drop, maybe, so sometimes Alta Sierra gets in some crazy, like, so we went 34. So we got some 5 acres that we dropped out of there. I might go up to like 1,500 square feet here. Preview count got 31. I'm going to review some results. I want to make sure I get enough actives. So I do have a few actives, but you can see I've got some of the 4s, some of the 5s, and you got this one down here at 600. I've got a house that's 1978, could be totally original. Mine not going to probably be in the higher end, so you can see a lot of them are in the 450-ish kind of range. So I can stick with this right there, or I'm probably would just come back to here just so it's a little easier for me to see. And I'd probably just do, $500,000, to, there are some at the 370. So I might go, because I already know that market. So I might do that. I'm going to get down. So I got 24. So I'm going to go with 24 houses. This is doable. I'll come over here and I'm going to click on.
Sorry, Eric,
Yes.
Can I, for just 1 second, can folks please mute your phones? The background is making it hard. It's just, somebody's got some background noise making it hard to hear you.
Might have been Jana, so I will turn that. All right. Okay, I just muted everyone. All right. Okay. So I've got these. I come up to this little button right here because I like to see, multiple lines with pictures. So I like to kind of see that. You actually definitely want to, come back here, and you definitely want to come in here like this, and just before you go, and because you wanted to check that Zillow thing of what they actually feel that it is. And neighbor Zillow, Roving Way, did that not work? Maybe I'm going to get rid of this Brewer Road right here and just put that, because there we go. All right, so Zillow is showing around 436 is kind of where it is. I try to come in here if you haven't been there. I know right where that's at location wise, but occasionally I'll go to Street View and I'll go, oh, yep, I can price that. Looks good to me. I know exactly where that's at. You're like, I have no idea. I can't see it. You kind of, then, there's things that you can kind of look at too. You can look at like driveways and go, okay, it's not too bad. It's not super steep. It's not bad, because you can kind of understand kind of where things are at there as well. So then I've done that. Let's see, where'd you guys go? You guys jumped to a different format, but that's okay. All right, so then I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to kind of look at these. And this one is kind of crazy. It was 1977, 1,600 square feet, 375. Again, I don't know what I'm going to find when I go in there, so I will spend some time, just a few minutes, kind of looking at these interior. So I will kind of catch some of these, and it's probably a little bit, guys, it's probably a little bit slower when it comes to, because I'm on Zoom, to be able to get that out. But I might throw a 375, because that one's kind of pending. I would like to show a pending. Here's one in Lower Circle that I've been to. Here's one in Keenan, 399. Then I'm going to show, so I got a couple of them in the lower price points, and then I'm going to jump in here to the 449. So now I've got some in the middle. I got some 430s. I'm probably, since I know that theirs isn't really a barn shape, I'll probably kind of maybe avoid that one. This one happens to be my listing, so I'm going to throw this one in right here, even though it's a 2-bedroom, which I'll share with them too. This is a 1977, a nice single-story home there that's painted at 450. This one here is 450, but it's a super steep driveway. So I'm going to show what a driveway actually does, because look at this number over here, 143 days in the market. So I already knew that this one, because I've already used this a couple of times this week. So I want to drop that one in. Hackett's a nice one, but 450. So I got an 1,800 square foot home. I'm going to try to grab something like this one, because this is 1.27 acres. So I'm going to grab something this is a nice home on Oscar, at a larger one. Here's a little bit bigger. So I'm going to grab that one. And I'm just, let's see, I got a couple actives. I got some actives. I think we might have got all of the active ones. Sharon Way, this is a pending one on Greg at 1,600 at 459. A pending one there. And I'm going to grab this one because it's 0.71 at 465. So I have enough houses here that are really telling me that my number is going to be anywhere between 400 to 460, 480. Now, if I clicked on this property right here, you're going to find that this one actually has all newer, stuff. I mean, and I'll show you this, and I'm going to show you the pictures maybe after we publicize it or publish it. But see, you're getting at the 480, 485 range, that same square footage, but these are going to be finished houses. This one actually is not, this one surprises me actually, because that one actually has all brown, it's not really a pretty thing, but it's definitely, somebody liked it, but it certainly needs some updating on that one as well. But it went pending pretty quick, only 4 days. So that gives me 10, 15 houses. That's probably good. Make sure if you see page 101, because sometimes I accidentally go, oops, there was more, and you could catch a little bit more. But the max here that I'm looking at here, guys, is like the 500. There's just no way that guy's original house is going to go any higher. I might grab this one just because it's got the 1.17 and then kind of go off of that 1991 construction. So then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to use this one that's going to be exports. And I'm going to hit that. And you're going to notice that it just automatically, I don't know if it's me, why, but it just goes to Cloud CMA. So I'm going to hit submit on that. And it's going to give me this little button. And it's going to give me, I have to open it down here. And it gave me all these little cute little guys right here. And I'm just going to copy them. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to drop them right here. Okay. Now, pro tip here, I always just grab this. Again, I'm a copy paster. So I just grab that because I know I'm going to use that in just a moment. You can actually come in here and it does allow you to actually do your own searches if you want. But I just like to go straight into MLS and do my own just so I can kind of be a little bit more pinpoint that. I'm going to fetch the listings. Take just a minute here. Let's see if I can get you guys back up to. You guys are all like hiding on the bottom of my screen, but it's all good. All right, so then this kind of shows up. And you can actually take one, like if all of a sudden you go, oops, I didn't really mean to have this one. It's a little bit too far. You can uncheck one if you want, and they'll disappear. But you can see there's the client's house. We're kind of, all these are right around the area, but a couple of them down here. It's okay. Alta Sierra is a big Alta Sierra, so it's fine. It's they got their exit to get out there. So I'm totally fine with that. One thing I do like to do is I like to actually take this sort, because you can see they're just, you can put them into whatever that you want. Days in the market, list price. I just like status. And then I always hit this little button right there, because then that will push the active ones first. And so, I want to share with them the active ones. I want to go with that first. I want to say, guys, here's our competition. What's happening in the market right here. And then these are the ones that are currently pending that just got offers. And then you can kind of go pending. And then you get into the closed ones and you can kind of talk about the close. Now, I wish they were actually in kind of a numeric order, because when you actually first drop the 399, and they were thinking more like the 450, and this is the first number they see, they kind of like all of a sudden close off. So, I just want to share with them. And before I even share these comparables, I just say, guys, here's the deal. The deal is I'm just sharing some properties that have similar square footage, similar size, similar acreage, similar age. And then each one of them has something that's similar to yours. And then there's some that absolutely don't. But so we can pinpoint, and, being that I'm just coming into your house for the first time, this is what I'm bringing to the table. You could, if I'm doing a presentation for someone outside the area and I haven't met them, or I've got enough information, or I could see their house on the MLS that they just bought 2 years ago and they tell me it's identically the same, I can actually set a price and put like 450,000 to 465,000. But going in it that I don't know, I'm going to leave this blank, and I usually don't touch anything. So I got my 3 actives, got a bunch of pendings. This is good local data that you have here. And then basically I just customize report. And I copied our little lovely people's name, because then I come to cover letter. The cover letter you have to change every time. You can see this just said Aaron. So please do not forget that step. I put in my own verbiage here. You can totally, customize to whatever that you want. There's not a save button. You just exit out. And then I've got a cover letter, or sorry, that's not what I meant. Oh, hang on a second. That just messed up because I didn't. All right. If you go to right here, this cover is what I want. And so if I know that they're on a golf course, or if I know they're on a ocean front, you can actually customize it. If I know there are mountain views, it's in Alta Sierra. So, I could go, if it, flowers, if I know they have grandkids, whatever it is, I might just drop this one because it's in Alta Sierra. They're close to the Alta Sierra, country club. So I'll just go with that one. So basically you can come in here and take anything out. You can add these in, you can subtract them, just have to click that and it just automatically comes over. I like the ratings on my Zillow. So if you have some Zillow ones, use it. If you don't have Zillows, then, you know, because this actually this drives completely live, completely. If a new person drops in, like right here, this one, this is the first time I've seen this one, other than seeing it in a different, the first time I've seen it on this that it logged in here, but they just drop them right in here, which is nice. If you don't want that, you don't have Zillows, take it out. You can actually come up here to the testimonial page. You can actually do, I believe you can actually put your own, you can put real satisfied agent ratings in here. You can actually do some different things. You can put your own in there just to build that. Analysis, I've got this kind of dialed in. Contact me, what's a CMA company, but you guys can seriously come over here and put a zillion different things into what open houses are. They have a Tom Ferry kind of has some of this stuff, which is Tom Ferry pages, which is nice. So I've got that. I've changed the cover letter, I've changed the name, and then I just published report. And so then this is what, can you go give me that report that's on the machine in there that's drawing, please? Addison. The one that's on the machine, so I can show what it looks like.
What?
The presentation that's on the little dryer in there. And so it takes a few minutes. I'm going to show you kind of a finished product that we're going to here today. What a buyer tour looks like. It's probably taking long. Oh, there we go. All right. So there's a view of PDF and there's a view of live view. If I'm doing a sharing my screen and recording my screen, I'm totally doing the view on live. I really like it because it's a little bit easier for me to show them. So if I'm doing this, I will share my screen with them. Thank you. And I will come right here. Now make sure that you do your company and make sure you do your agent resume. So for the first few months, I was actually doing this and I didn't realize that when they clicked this, it said like nothing. It was like zip. So make sure that you don't do that. And then here's the 18 comparables. So I will share my screen. I actually go over and I'll click on this and it will actually open up the pictures. I tell them that they can go in and actually scroll over and see the home. And so you can see this one. I doubt that the house that we might be going into might be some upgraded Corian counters and wood floors. So this one actually is quite nice. And then you can just back out of this. So I kind of share kind of what this is when I'm doing a virtual one with somebody. If I'm not, I'll actually do this and I'll print it, view report. This is actually a copy of my buyer one that we actually have that we're going to be going and showing these homes today in a few minutes. And so it's actually sharing and showing kind of a little tour, and I put it behind plastic. And you can actually do it. I think most offices have one of those little puncher machines and stuff there too. But this is basically what it looks like. It kind of gave a little bit of map of where it's at. And this Dear Aaron, for some weird reason, because I messed up. So I will have to go back and change that. So I'm just clarifying. I don't know why that didn't do that. That's weird because there's not a save button. It just doesn't. Then it kind of just goes in. This is all my pages that I have. And then you can see that it gives a summary. So when I'm sitting down with them, I'm actually going, hey guys, I've got some active listings. I've got some backups, some print, and I'll go through page by page and I will share that with them. And it's good to know them because I know Ricky Court, this one's been on the market a long time, guys, and it can show the driveway and it actually has nice pictures. So you can say, hey, this has got a similar kitchen or this one doesn't. And, check out this one right here because this one. And so when you're going through this, you will be able to get a tell that, hey, this kitchen looks exactly like your kitchen, so then when I get done, I'll just sit there and go, hey guys, what did you guys think? Which one you guys kind of feel that after looking at all these comparables where your house kind of lies? And they might look at that and go, none of them, which is rarity, but they might go, yeah, it kind of looks like we're kind of in this range or that range. And you kind of let them price their own property in a sense of feeling of, with logic, where do they think they're at? So then you can come down on the bottom of these pages or at the very bottom, and it basically drops down average square footage. So I would absolutely know before you go into a home that if I say that, this is an average on the pending and the sold ones here, if it's $263,000, because sometimes you get put on the spot so hard that if you put 263, and I know I have about 263 average times 1,600, it was whatever, 1,600 something square foot, that puts me at a $420,000. So I know this is the average. So if all of a sudden you guys will go, well, I want blank, and it's like they want 600,000, and then that I don't really want to go over the average or be close to the average at 420, and they tell me 600, I'm going, well, that's way above the average. You don't have to go calculate it in front of them. So, and I sometimes grab my phone and like, hey, let's calculate what that comes to square footage. Because again, I don't base it all off of that, because we have to kind of be at least in the ballpark. But I don't see your house is below average condition. So, it gets a little bit kind of tricky on that. So it kind of shares and shows that information there for you of what that is. So I sit down, go over this with them and share that with them. And then I'll go through it with them. And sometimes, guys, I don't even look at these houses before I even get there. If I'm going to like maybe going out to a place that you don't go visit that often. And so until I actually will sit there and look at the data and come up with a price sitting right there with them right then and there and say, guys, you're going to be between conservatively, you're going to be between, on this particular one, after I look at it, you're probably going to be somewhere between a 435 to 465 because you have that larger acre. And, depending on if it's at least clean inside, but if it doesn't have all brand new bells and whistles, I can't give you 495. You just can't see it. And your house is going to sit there too long. So anyway, that is what I have there, guys, for that. So just walk in, take that with them. You're going to leave that with them. You can leave whatever other material. You can leave a business card. You can leave a marketing plan. If you guys have like a marketing plan of what you're going to do to sell the property, you kind of leave it there and answer any questions that you guys have. So, all right, any questions that you guys have on your side?
I have a question.
Please.
So what happens when there's a whole bunch of improvements that are non-cosmetic or not at all visible? So, like drains put in, lots of beautiful landscaping, like stuff that's structural that is like definitely has contributed to increasing the value of the home, but that most buyers aren't really, unless they're super savvy or their agent is super savvy, they're not really going to see it and know how to place a value on that. But the seller knows how much they've invested and is able to say, well, okay, but my house has blah, 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 blah. So therefore it should be, X amount more than all of those.
Mm-hmm. I do bring that up when I'm doing the presentation, because I'll say, that driveway that you put in, I know how much you spent for that. I know that it was close to probably 20 grand, and they might correct you and they go, yes, it was, or no, it was actually 26 grand. And so I'll go, I know how much that is. And so when we price this, the buyers, they may not understand, the agent may not understand what it is, but you'll get the savvy buyer and agent will understand what the value and why we're coming up with this value because of these extra things. We got an amazing privilege here to have Christine Turner in the house, and she actually is a super savvy agent. And so on that one, Christine listed a house down the street from my listing in Alta Sierra. I think I got like 3. This is a few months back, or I can't remember. I don't know, Christine, but your house, Zonner's house. I think you got like 400 or something. Anyway, we're about a $50,000-$60,000 swing difference for the same house.
We actually got like 5. I think it was 500. Yeah.
So I must have been 460 or 440, and you were at 500. And I looked at that house and went, why is there such a huge difference?
It was the backyard.
The backyard. Okay. Yep. It had a flat backyard, accessible to the little creek that they had in there. I had the same creek. My water was the same water coming down and flowing into her backyard. So why was mine? Because mine was a steeper driveway.
Yeah.
Mine had stairs to have to get down to it, but my interior was just as nice as her interior. So my seller didn't really balk at that, but I will have to share. If they did, I would say, look, single story homes will always sell more. And that backyard with the fully landscaped green grass, gorgeous flowers on that park-like setting with privacy on both right and left, it was priceless. I mean, it totally was a beautiful thing. And so that was the difference. So yes, you will have to kind of get to know there, Sarah, on things, and people will understand what other things that they've done. Because you want to ask, when I'm actually touring the property, I'm asking things like, okay, tell me about the roof. Tell me about your HVAC, because I mean, is it in the attic? I haven't seen it yet. Or where is it hiding? So have you done any replacement on those? Have you done any replacement? And I'm glancing at the windows. Are they single pane? I'm going, oh, great. You put in new windows. Did you do that, or did the previous owner do that? Oh, we did that. Okay, great. So now I'm calculating in my head, wow, they did a $14,000 package on that. And oh, you just put the roof. We just took care of that, 2 years ago. Okay, about 17 grand. So I'm kind of calculating this in my head that the next buyer here. We're going to need to get some money out of it. And sometimes I'll even ask them, wow, you've done such serious remodeling. You know, what do you guys put in this house in the last 2 or 3 years? If they say, yeah, we put 75 grand into it, then it kind of helps me understand kind of where they're at too. But that's a great question though. All right. All right. There is a save button. Thanks, Tim. I must have missed it. All right. Any chance to have a class on how to adjust comps? I would love to get your input on values. All right. In what way, Christine? Of adjusting comparables or just switching them, or?
Yeah, how you adjust them and what you know, like you said, the driveway, what do you use to adjust if one has a great driveway and one doesn't? I just would like to see the values that you use, how you compensate for the difference in square footage and things like that.
And like a bathroom, right? Like if something has an extra bathroom,
An extra
like
bathroom, sure.
how much do you, or an extra bedroom, like what values do you place on all of those things?
So I would say that it's more of a negative value that I concentrate more on, of like a steep driveway, 3-story house, no garage. There is the positive though of like, wow, you have a spectacular view. And I'll let them know, guys, no one knows what a price is of the view. No one really understands what a price is to somebody on a golf course lot. What it is though, it's the quantity of buyers that are currently right now seeking that inventory. We might sell a golf course home 6 months ago at a crazy price, but if you put it on today and there's no golf course buyer and you put on $50,000 higher than everything else around you, that may not mean anything to somebody. They don't care that it's on a golf course because they're just looking at house to house. And actually, in some of those type of people, it's probably a negative because they don't want to get bombarded by golf balls. So I kind of share that a little bit with them. I'll say, I'm not going to get into the fact and say, hey, Sarah, you've got one extra half bath. So when you have like 6 of your friends over, it's okay because you got the half bath. I don't get that deep, but I will say, wow, I know that a bathroom with Corella marble and like crazy wife does and all her little remodel things you do, I just spent $10,000 on that one, or I got $8 grand on this. So I go, wow, you guys put in a good, 6 to 8 grand on this bathroom recently. That's really, really good. And if they actually go yes, or they go, oh, no, this is like gold handled, it was 22,564 cents, then you at least get to know kind of what their drive is. But I would say it's negative. I will come back and show them some property values of a steep driveway, like the one I think was at Francis that had my 2-bedroom on Norleen. I'm showing it here in a few minutes, but the deal has been on the market a little bit longer. But we tried to price it the same square footage as a 3-bedroom and a 2-bedroom. So we're not finding that 2-bedroom buyer who's, they're looking at going, well, I could go buy a 3-bedroom for the same price and have the similar house. So we're going to have to still continue to come down on that value and the valuation to be able to hit the sweet spot until we find somebody who's a 2-bedroom. So your biggest things are your 2-bedroom and your steep driveways and not a usable backyard, and you're on a deck entertaining kind of thing and not having a backyard. Those are some of the biggest things that people will kind of say, hey, I don't really like. So I would say a steep driveway, find a comparable, but it could be 20, 30 grand. It could be 40 grand. My little 2-bedroom on Brewer, the biggest thing, there's no garage. We finally found someone who's okay because they've got construction abilities to build a garage. So, and that, it did hurt us a little bit, but we kind of stuck in there because the house was cute enough that we could bypass and not really come up to a problem with that. But that's a good question. So we can go over other individual ones. Christine, do you have another specific example of?
No, I guess I would love like a cheat sheet, like
okay.
5 grand for a new addition to a bathroom. If you got a kitchen that's original and a kitchen that's just kind of a ballpark, so that I can kind of adjust, and because I throw out value, but they're all kind of my personal values.
That's true. And I know that Sarah and I were having a screaming match last night, trying to have this conversation with the band, and we were sharing that because I've done it enough to where I'm remodeling the middle of it that I sometimes come backwards into it, and I'll say, look, I know, Christine, you want $500,000 for your house, but look at this other house that's $500,000. It's got a brand new kitchen. It's got brand new bathrooms, and yours house doesn't have that. So we have to go backwards in this. your kitchen is going to be about $18,000 for a remodel because I just did one recently and I know that my client paid that much money. So I'm probably most likely be able to get just rough 18 or 20 grand. Then you've got maybe $6,000 to $8,000 in each of your bathrooms. So if you're at 500,000, a savvy buyer is going to look at that and go, why would I want to do that? I want to go buy Christine's house because it's completely remodeled, or I'm going to subtract $30,000 for this, $10,000 for this to get to me to be at like a $450,000 price point. That's where we need to be realistically to allow somebody else then to actually put all this money into it and then generate, to be able to sell it at that value. So I'll come up with some cheat sheet. I'll come up with a perfect formula, and it's going to be so mathematic.
Oh, that would be wonderful, especially like square footage. I know you can't just simply take the, let's say you're comparing 16 to 1,800 square feet. You can't just take the 200 and throw in the average square footage, can you? Because usually it's astronomical, the difference, and it's really only 200 square feet.
Because that's a big one. You've got these 4,000 square foot homes, and they see your average of $232 is $263 a square foot, and they go $6,000 times and they go, this is my value. Why? Come on, Eric. Well, you tell me the average value, so why? It just doesn't work that way. So you just have to find the comparables and say, guys, and I always tell them, well, you guys have a huge house here. I just want you to know that here are the averages. But generally speaking, because I look at comp 6 and look at comp 8, that they were larger, but their value per square foot is way less because of larger rooms and different things. I've got a house I'm going to be listing. It's going to be $400 a square foot. It's crazy high, but it's because it's only 1,300 square feet. So that doesn't mean I'm going to go next door and tell the other person that he can have $400 a square foot. So it does get a little bit dicey on kind of coming up with value on that, but you just got to show them the comparables with that. So if you know that you're going into 3,000 square foot homes that are just need remodeling, you're gonna have to find some comparables as you sit there with them. That's why I brought, what do we have, 14 different ones there to be able to kind of go over and share that with them and to let them kind of see what the value and let them kind of pick and choose what they feel it is. And then might have to correct them politely.
I have another question, Eric. So kind of going back to when there are special upgrades that might not be as visible to the regular buyer, you've given us a kind of a general algorithm before. It's something like, if it's been on the market 1 week and you have no calls, then it's 10% overpriced. If it's been on the market and it's been on the market for 2, I think this was you. I apologize if I'm misquoting you, but if it's been on the market for 2 weeks and you've got or been on the market for 1 week and no showings, it's 10% overpriced. Been on the market for 2 weeks and no offers, it's 20 or something like that. Anyways, point being, like there's a difference between overpricing a home and then having an appropriate market value, but for a smaller niche of a buyer. So like, pricing it $50,000 more when you've got a better backyard, or, it's got all solar, or it's got all of these upgrades, again, that are not visible. How long do you wait before you say, okay, we're just waiting for the right buyer? Or, you know what, actually, maybe we did miss the mark.
I would do that depending on what, if you list it on a holiday weekend, that's a different story. But it was real interesting. I had serious statistics on this, that the 400, 500,000 homes, I would put it on the market Wednesday, would have offers by Sunday, review all by Monday. Then I had like 2 $700,000 homes that we put on the market. And like we went through the first weekend, I was freaking out. It's like, wait, we don't have an offer. But then it was weird. Both of those 2 weeks it took, and we got the offer on that second weekend. So the higher price point kind of wavers a little bit on that. But I would say about a week and a half, I let them know. I say, hey, Sarah, I know that we're kind of negotiating here, that I really feel that our price point should be kind of closer to this 450, and you want 465. I know that's close enough to try because of your new roof, because of your backyard that you just put in, because of the new water heater that you had, because you have new solar that could be a lease, which again, that's another whole story that could be a negative or a positive to somebody. But because you have these, I'm willing to give a shot at that price point. But just know that in that first week and a half, if we don't see that big fluctuation of like big influx of people coming and wanting to kind of see it, because when there's a new listing on the market, because the inventory is so limited right now, you're going to have showing after showing after showing. And if we don't get the offer in that first, week and a half, we'll get some feedback, and then your showings will dip off. You'll be able to statistically totally show, because you're new, everybody was excited, and now the excitement's gone, and now you're just kind of waiting for new buyers to kind of happen to find it on the internet or through our magazines or our advertisements that we do. So that's really important, because if you miss that first weekend and we don't get it, we have to know why. Why did we not hit that? And then that point is we'll get the feedback. And if they say too overpriced or this or this or that, we share the feedback. And then we don't want to chase the market, Mr. Seller, for a long period of time. We don't want to go a month or 2 or 3 months without doing some adjustments on the value, because we missed the market. And the longer your house is going to sit on the market, the lower your offer is going to be. Somebody the other day said, it's been on the market forever. And I looked at the date, thinking it's got to be 100 days. And they said it's 34 days in the market. And I went, that's not forever. That's actually, that's minimal. I mean, that's not forever. Try 1,000 days. That's forever. So yeah, I would go give it about a week and a half, and then get a feel. And this is what I do with this, is that you want to be again, that professional, and you want to share data with them. And so yesterday I did a video for a listing that we've had for 34 days on the market, no offers on it. It had minimal showings on it. And what I did is I broke it down and went into the MLS and shared all of the homes that went, the new listings in that price point, 0. I showed all the houses that went pending the last 34 days, 0. I showed the houses that actually closed in that time frame, which was 4, which were pending before in the previous presentation I gave them. So I shared with them and said, look, the good news is we didn't get flooded in the market here with other inventory. Bad news is we didn't get a single buyer. So we want to like watch this market. If it's slowing down, we want to be careful that all the other competition we have doesn't start lowering their price, and then we're chasing them. So I'd rather be ahead of that curve and do in your percentage, since it's about 900 square feet or $900,000, a $5,000 price reduction of a $900,000 house isn't going to cut it. So percentage wise, it needs to be a $15,000 or $20,000 price reduction. And that's what I sent them yesterday, and let them kind of see and digest that information. And when I sent that video, they said, should we be adjusting the price? And so I let them make that decision. Then I came back with another email saying, yes, I would suggest we do that to stay in front of them, is what I put in there. Good times. All right, guys, I have 4 minutes. I have to leave in 4 minutes to be able to get to my appointment on time. So I probably should take off, but this has been wonderful. I hope that kind of fit. It was recorded, so we will get this over to Allie. I don't think Allie joined us. Sweet Allie. She must have, hopefully she's at a listing appointment making tons of money. So that's fantastic. All right. Okay. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very, very much. Anything else? Chats, button, save. Misha, thank you. Great. Appreciate you doing this. Screaming, I wonder if we can. All right, guys, I think we got good. Okay. Thank you actually on that for next weekend. Next weekend is Christmas Eve, next Friday. So we're going to have a Christmas Eve special, which is, there won't be any. And so and then the next week after that is New Year's Eve. So this will be our last little episode here until January 7th, I think, is when we'll do it. So no classes next week or the following. You guys have a very Merry Christmas, and enjoy the family, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right.
Can I
take
say
care.
just one more thing? I just put something in the chat for everybody. It's just a thing that I did about how the Zestimate is wrong in our area. That's all.
Love it. All right. Beautiful. Everybody go grab that
Sarah.
before I end the meeting. You're welcome. Thanks for sharing that, Sarah. Appreciate it. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.